Hey everyone, Kelly here, and today I wanted to bring you my February TBR, or to be read list. And I have several readathons I want to participate in February. So I was trying to keep this TBR list down because I really want to mood read for these readathons. So I'm going to try to tell you all the things that I know I really want to read, and maybe I can fill in some of these for some of those readathons. But if you want to kind of see what I'm actually going to read for those readathons, you can check out my Instagram. I just started doing Instagram last month. I'll link it down below, but I'm just at Cozy Reader Kelly. And what I'm going to do is kind of as I decide what books I'm going to read for those readathons, I will post pictures of my TBR. And so you know, in case you want to know which readathons I want to do the Contemporaryathon, which is hosted by Natasha from My Reading is Odd, Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads, and Julie from Pages and Pens, and that runs February 10 through 16, and that's all contemporaries. I'll probably be reading romance books because it's around Valentine's Day, and I feel like I'll read more if I just pick up whatever I feel like or what's available on audio at the time. And then right after that is Thrillerathon, which is hosted by Harriet Rosie, and that runs from February 15th through 23rd. And she had made a clue game out of it, kind of instead of a bingo board, it's a Cluedo board. And so that looked like a lot of fun. And so I feel like the same way with my thrillers, if I just pick up whatever I'm in the mood for and then fill it out on the clue board. So I will make sure to link all of these down below so you can do them if you want. And then the other one that kind of runs for both of those times pretty much is Topple by Thoughts on Tomes, and that runs February 7th through the 20th, so it overlaps with the other two readathons. I'm not telling you TBRs for those, but some of these books might fit into those readathons, or I might just be picking up random things, but these are other stuff I want to read that month. First of all, I am doing the Analog 2020, where they're reading Anne of Green Gables for the first 8 months of the year. I will put the link to the host down below. And this month we are reading Anne of Avonlea by Ellen Montgomery, and so I'm really excited because I had read Anne of Green Gables for the first time in January and loved it, so I'm very excited to get to the next book in the series. And then I also have a buddy read on Merphy Napier's channel that I do with them, and we are reading Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. And this is one of his YA dystopian series. I think it's dystopian, might be sci-fi, I'm not for sure. I never hear anybody talking about this, so I don't know if it's any good, but since it's YA, it should read pretty quickly. And if I like this, I got this one from the library, but if I like it, then I'll probably buy the whole trilogy, so we'll see. And then I am going to be participating in the Booktube Rereadathon 2020, which is a year-long readathon. I actually have a TBR for that whole readathon coming out next week, I think on Tuesday, so look out for that. But for that month, the pick I want to do reread is The Death and Life of Charlie St. Cloud by Ben Sherwood. And this is, you might have seen the movie Charlie St. Cloud. It's about a teenager, I think he's teenager or early 20s, and his brother dies, and he can still kind of communicate with his brother even though his brother is dead, but he can't leave this cemetery where his brother is buried, or he will lose that connection with his brother. And so it's all about that and his life and all that. It's very short, and I think this could also fit into Contemporaryathon, so might end up reading it that week. And then for my tomes this month, I want to read more than one tome since we're doing the Tome Topple. And so from that list of tomes that I had, I picked two that I'm interested in, but I could end up switching something else out. But I picked up Master of the Game by Sydney Sheldon, and I picked this one for this month because it is a thriller. And I thought, since Thrillerathon is going on and it overlaps with Tome Topple, maybe I can do both of these, do that for both of those readathons and kick out one of my tomes. I don't know anything about this other than it's a thriller. And then also, I wanted to read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. I wanted to read this in the winter for some reason. It just feels like a winter read, maybe because it's a huge fantasy book. And so I think I'll at least start it in February and maybe read it for February and March because it's pretty huge. So those are my tomes that I'm thinking about reading for the month. And then I want to continue some series this month, but the only one I'm going to commit to so far is The Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. This is the next one in the Sherlock Holmes series that I need to read, and I really want to get this next short story collection done so I can move on to a couple more of the novels. And the way I usually do these is that I just read them throughout the month. I think there is 11 stories in this book, so I'll probably just read like 3 a week and get through that over the month. And then the other thing I've been wanting to do is read books that have just come out, like new releases, and at least do a review about one of them. My review for January hopefully came out yesterday. I was delayed on that. I meant for it to come out earlier in the month, but I had a really bad cold in the middle of January, so I couldn't record that video. Hopefully I will have recorded it and posted it yesterday. Now I want you to vote on which new release you want me to review in February. The books that are actually coming out in February that I want to read all come out at the end of the month, so I'm giving you January releases as options. The first one is one that I'm almost done with, and that is The Other People by CJ Tudor. So this isn't actually a TBR, this is just one you can vote for because I'm gonna have this finished before January's over. And this is a thriller. I got an art copy, and so that's why I have it almost finished already. It came out January 28th if you're interested in it, and it is kind of crazy. So it's this thriller that is from multiple perspectives. There's a man whose daughter was killed along with his wife, but he doesn't think she's dead because he swears that he saw her after she was supposedly killed. And so he just like drives on the highway all the time trying to look for her because he saw her in the back of a car. And so that's all he's done since the 3 years since she died, is just search for her in that car. And then it's also from the perspective of a waitress that runs to him, Gabe, the man, when she's working at the rest stop, like she's a waitress at a rest stop, and so it's from her point of view. And that's also from a point of view of a woman named Fran and a young girl that are traveling together. They also are going up and down the highway a lot because they're on the run from something. And all these things are happening at once. It's very confusing, but like in a fun and fast-paced way, and threads are starting to come together and stuff like that, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm almost done with it, so I could do a review on that one. Or Lucky Caller by Emma Mills came out in January. This is a YA romance, and I think it involves a radio station. The main character's on a radio group in her high school, and a romance ensues. So I could review that one. Or Tweet Cute by Emma Lord came out in January, and this is a romance again of 2 high schoolers who are running the Twitter page for their family's businesses, and I guess they're rivals in their family businesses, Twitter rivals, but in real life they might be falling in love. I really like that whole kind of letter writing theme, so those are the ones you can vote for. I'll put it up in the cards. I guess I don't remember which side it's on, where you can vote for which one you want me to review. So that'll be Lucky Caller by Emma Mills, Tweet Cute by Emma Lord, or The Other People by CJ Tudor. So whether you want me to review a romance book or a thriller, let me know. And there's one other new release I want to read in January, but I'm not going to review this one because it's the last in a series, and that's This Vicious Cure by Emily Suvada. This is the last one in the, I don't know what it's called, This Mortal Coil trilogy. I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's what the first book was called. And this is like a YA sci-fi book, and I'm just excited to be finishing off the series. So those are all the new releases I am going to read. So go ahead and vote which one you want me to do a full dedicated review on. And now I wanted to do my TBR scratch off. So back in my 12 days of Bookmas, I said there were some books, backlist books that I've had on my shelf for a long time that I wanted to get rid of, like read or get rid of. And so I made a scratch off of 12 of, well actually there's 24 of those books. So each month I pick 2 that I scratch off, and I have to either read those books or get rid of them in that month. In January, I did read both of my picks. So for January, I read A Walk in the Woods, gave it 4 stars. I've already done a review on that in a recent reads. And then I have Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. This will be reviewed in my next recent reads that I come out with. So you'll see what I think about it. So I've read both of those. So I did good in January. So let's see what I will be reading in February. I just pick a box randomly and scratch it off. This box right here randomly got a scratch on it. I can't see what book it is, but I'm like nervous that the scratch is going to get bigger. So I'm just gonna go ahead and scratch that one because I don't like having it already scratched a little bit. It's very hard to scratch this in front of the camera, so that's why I'm going to put it down a little bit to try to get it. All right, well, this might be the first one I fail at. We'll see. We'll see if I can do this. So I got Origin, which is by Dan Brown. I'll go and grab it once I pick my second one because my box is over there. So let me pick my second one. Let's go like up here. So let's do this one. Oh, this is actually perfect for this month. So I got as the second one called Watch Me Disappear, which is a thriller, which is perfect for Thrillerathon. So let me go grab those two books so you can see them. So these are the two books I got from the scratch off. Origin by Dan Brown is the next book in the like Da Vinci Code series. I don't even know what that series is called. It's the one with his character Robert Langdon. I've read the first 4 books in this series, and this was the next one. I just have kind of lost interest in the series, but I own the book, so either I get to it in February or I decide I'm DNFing the series and get rid of the book. It just, I don't know. I was enjoying them when I read them, but the series has dragged on for many years, and I just don't know if I really care anymore. So that could be my first like just unhaul of this project. And then the other one is Watch Me Disappear by Janelle Brown, which is a thriller about a mother who goes missing, and I think she's presumed dead. And so years later, I think the daughter is having visions and wondering if her mother is actually dead. So those are the two that I have to read or unhaul based on my scratch off. Okay, now we're gonna talk about my keep, read, and unhaul project. So if you didn't see my keep, read, and unhaul video from this time, I'll link it down below. But every month on like the second week of the month, I post a video where I tell you all the books I bought from 2 years ago in that month and let you vote on which one I should just keep and can read later, which one I should read that month, like the next month, so that'd be in February, and then which I should just unhaul without reading. Last month in January, I did pretty good. I had a bigger haul, so I had 15 books that I was trying to like read some of them, get rid of some of them, and out of those 15 books, I have read 5. I read 5 books, and I am getting rid of quite a few of them. So let me just go through that really quick. I ended up already getting rid of First and Then, which was the one you voted on for me to unhaul. I've already gotten rid of it when I did my little free library tour. I also already got rid of and read Magonia, which I gave 2 stars to, so I didn't enjoy it. And I also unhauled that one already. And then the ones that you voted on for me to read are these 4. So I had two like polls, and in each one I ended up, one of them was tied, and so I read both of those, and the other one wasn't tied, but it was close enough that I ended up reading 2 for that one too, because I just wanted to read as many as I could. So for the first poll, it was tied between Heidi and The Likeness. I'm going to unhaul The Likeness because I didn't enjoy it, and because I didn't enjoy that one, I'm unhauling another book, which was later in the series. This is book 4 in that series, so I'm also unhauling that. So already that's 4 unhauls. And then in the other poll, I read The Rest of Us Just Live Here and Furthermore, and I'm gonna unhaul Furthermore. I know this is a beloved middle grade book. I just didn't like it that much. Like, it was fine, it was 3 stars, but not enough that I wanna keep it. So in total, I've already unhauled 2, and I am unhauling 3 more. So that's 5 books out of the 15 that I am unhauling, and I also read 5 books. So I think that's pretty successful. So it's showing that this process is working. So now let's talk about for February. For the keep options, you had American Gods and Written in the Stars. 58% of people voted for Written in the Stars, and I said in that video that if you voted for this one, I was getting rid of American Gods because I just didn't like this version, and I just wasn't interested in reading it in mass market paperback, and I didn't know when I would ever read it. So another book that I'm unhauling right away. I'm just getting excited about all these books I'm getting off my shelf. I don't know if I'll be reading this one in February because I don't have to, but I might read it as part of Contemporaryathon because it would fit into some of the prompts. But then of the books that you were supposed to vote for me to read from, these were the 3 books you voted, and Jane Eyre, of course, won with 50% of the votes. So I'll be reading Jane Eyre in February, but I knew Jane Eyre would win, so I said whatever book got the second amount of votes, I would also read. And The Smell of Other People's Houses got 37% of the votes. So I will be reading these 2 books for sure in February, and if I don't read them, I have to unhaul them. So that's 2 more books added to my TBR. And then in the unhaul, you voted for me to unhaul with 52%. You voted for me to unhaul First We Were Four. So I'm just not even gonna read this book or try it at all. I'm just gonna get rid of it. So another book to unhaul. That's awesome. Already on that list, I have 2 for this month. And then the other one I'm gonna keep. It got 47% of the votes, but several people in the comments said they wanted me to read this book. I might not get into it in February. It's a historical fiction, but since several people want me to read it, I'm going to keep it and hopefully get to it in the next few months. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing of a view from that. I mean, from all that, this month's Keep Reading Unhaul, I'm already getting rid of 2 books, and I am reading for sure 2 books, and hopefully we'll get to this one as well. So that is my TBR for February. It's quite large, but I don't know. I've already read 15 books in January at this point. I mean, when I'm filming this, it's the 29th, so I might get a couple more done. So I'm not really that concerned. It's not that many. And I will hopefully be getting rid of a few books in February as well. Don't forget to vote for which of those new releases you want me to review. If you want to talk about any of these books, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Thanks. Bye.